don't you introduce?
Yes. Thank you. I would like to introduce our speaker, and our speaker is Eddie Sullivan. Eddie represents the CYA team LLC, and his background has been with Ford Motor Company when he worked for the digital team at Ford Motor. So we are collaborating to present this idea about social media, how to go ahead and pursue that research that you need for the email campaigns, and so he's going to take it away. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you
very much.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Thank you very much for allowing me the time to come and speak with you. I hope you get something out of it, and I hope to also get something out of it. What I want to talk about is, with the survey that you have that you're coming up with, we'd like to talk a little bit about communication, the verbiage that you're going to be using, and how that's going to affect the person who receives your survey. So Joyce, if you can go to the first slide. The words we choose in communication are very, very powerful. They can create chemistry or they can create conflict. How the words are viewed by the person receiving it, sometimes they're totally different than the message that you intended to send when you sent that survey out. Next slide. I don't want anybody to read the next slide out loud, but when you see it, what I'd like you to do is, the first thought that comes into your mind, write it down. Okay? Don't verbalize anything. Just look at it, write it down. Next slide. Still got a couple people writing. Okay, while you're finishing up your writings, I need a volunteer to tell me what you wrote down.
I wrote fast.
You wrote what?
Fast.
Fast, okay, great. Somebody else?
I kind of said the same. I mean, I said power, so.
Power,
yes, to have that.
okay. Anybody have a different response to
Towing power like a truck.
towing power like a truck?
It's kind of building on that lifestyle for what's going to use towing power for, or maybe even just winters in Cleveland.
Okay, all great answers, but my intention was a status symbol. When I drive down the street, I want all heads to turn. Whoa, who's in that? Picture a stretch limo, a stretch Hummer, something along those lines. But because you can't hear what I'm talking about, all you're doing is reading it. Our own perceptions and our own backgrounds form the ideas in our minds. And that's what's going to happen when you send out a survey. So you got to be very, very careful with the words that you choose. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, great. Next slide. What determines for you personally if you're going to open an email, if you're going to open a text, and you're going to read it?
Is it a waste of my time?
Is it a waste of your time? Okay.
If I
What
know.
determines it? What?
If I know who it's from.
If you know who it's from.
I love the verbiage.
The verbiage, the subject line, right? So you got to come up with a catchy subject line that's going to make them want to read what it is that you're sending them. Where do you read your messages?
In the bathroom.
In the bathroom? What type of device do you use?
Everywhere.
iPhone.
iPhone?
Cell phone.
Cell phone? What else? Computer? What else might somebody use?
Tablet.
Tablets. Okay, so there's multiple devices that your message is going to be seen on. What system are they using? I heard somebody say iPhone. What's the other dominant system?
Samsung.
Samsung.
Samsung, actually Android.
Android.
Android
Yeah.
is the system. Okay. What does the message look like on an iPhone? What does it look like on a tablet? So keep in mind, when you send this survey, what they're going to be viewing it on. Next slide, please. Now, this is June data. 61% of all Americans have a smartphone. 91% actually have a cell phone. So that tells you over 30% do not have a smartphone. As much as 79% of the emails that are read on a smartphone, and over 80% of consumers delete right from their phone. Okay? That's up considerably from 2012. Over 30% said that they would unsubscribe from that email or that text messaging system. This one was a surprise to me. 52% of all smartphones are Android. Okay? And I'm going to show you a few differences between them. iPhones have about 42%. Windows Mobile is making a comeback. They're up to 3%. Okay? The other one that's out there that's still in the 1 to 2% range is BlackBerry. And BlackBerry still is relevant because a lot of corporations use BlackBerry. Ford Motor Company, every one of their reps had to have a BlackBerry until last year. Last year they were able to do whatever they want, mainly for security purposes. It's your responsibility as the people sending the message to make sure that it's going to get through and it's going to be read the way you intended it to be read. Next slide. Here's an example of a bad. What would you do with that if you got something like that?
We delete it.
Delete it. Next slide. There's another bad example. What this person did was they wrote what they wanted to write in a Word document. Then they copied it and they sent it out. And because it's an HTML document, that's the way it looks on the phone. Next slide. Here's another bad example. They put a table in here. Now tables are nice because they organize things, but can anybody sitting there read that table? No, it's so tiny on a phone, it's useless. So then what do? We expand and we scroll up and down. People hate to do that. Next slide. Okay, here's Android versus iPhone. Android hides your images. Okay, they give you the choice whether or not you want to see the image. iPhone delivers the image. Is that good or bad?
It's good to have it. Sometimes.
Sometimes. See, an image can also contain a hidden virus. So that's why they hide it. Okay? But as I look at these, there's a couple of things that the iPhone has on it that the Android doesn't. The hyperlinks, well, you have a hyperlink here, but over here they have a couple, and down here they also hyperlink to their hours on their website. Okay, next. Here's another one. These are called frames. They built it in frames. Typically when you only see the top picture, the top corner, somebody would put it in frames. Not too many people use this technique anymore, but it's still out there. You don't want to build anything in frames. Next. Okay, here's a big image. Somebody took an image and they didn't take the time to resize it before they sent it, because keep in mind the amount of people that are going to be using a small screen. So always take your image down to about a 250 by 250 image size. Next. Okay, here's a good example. Nice and neat. Okay. You got a hot link, it all fits on one screen, unless it's a BlackBerry. The whole idea is when you look at it, does the message come across immediately? So in a survey, this might be your first question, this might be your second question. Okay, keep them short, keep them precise. Next one. Okay, here's another good example. Again, it's nice and crisp. Does anybody know how many characters you should use when you're creating a text or an email?
No.
About 26. Because you got spaces in between. If you get over 30 or 31, 32, if you start climbing above that, these will truncate and you'll get a line with one word. And everything will be distorted from the way you intended it to look. So keep it to about 26 characters plus spaces. And also down, oh, that's okay, down at the bottom where you saw the signature blocked out, you always want to have a call to action there. That call to action would be your phone number, it would be your email address, and if you have a physical location you want somebody to come into, your physical address as well. Okay, test your templates. Not just on one email system, but on multiple. Okay, test them on multiple phones. So you can test them on a Gmail system, a Yahoo system, a Microsoft Office, to see what they look like on the different platforms, on an iPhone, on an Android system. I'm not going to tell you to go into the others because there's really not a whole lot of usage anymore. Shorten your templates, cut out all unnecessary verbiage, get to the point immediately. So when I glance at it, I've already read your message. I don't have to determine if I'm going to open it because I've glanced at it. Plan some follow-up messaging, primarily on the survey, reminders. Maybe the day after. Did you fill out your survey? A couple days later. How many days out do you want to go with reminders before it becomes irrelevant? Okay, what's the time frame? When you're using graphic emails and you have a picture in there, type underneath the picture what the picture is about. Because sometimes we scan and we might see the picture and go right past it, but we'll see the verbiage, and that little bit of verbiage will stick in our minds. Okay, and we already talked about the phone number and emails. Next. Here's something interesting. 3 different formats. Dots, dashes, parentheses around the area code. Did you ever get a message where you click on it and you can't complete the phone call, click to call? It depends on the system being used, which one is going to work best. For instance, this might work great on an iPhone, but not on an Android. Okay, so again, you want to test it. Who here has an Android? Who here has an iPhone? Okay, so the way you test it, you send it back and forth to each other. Okay. Just this morning, my brother called me and told me that my website's down. And I said, no, it's not. I was just looking at it. I said, what are you using to look at my website? He's using his new iPad. Well, my site, I designed it before iPads became popular. It wasn't optimized for the iPad. Well, it's good that he let me know that he couldn't see it, because now I have to go back and optimize my own personal website. This is my family website, my genealogy site. Okay. Have a mobile website if possible. Now, the reason I put this in here, this is for not your survey, but in the future. Okay. Or maybe you can use it in this survey. Okay. Is there a mobile website that you want to send people to get more information about this campus? If not, when you build a website, unlike me with mine, make sure right at the beginning it's mobile friendly. Any questions on what we've covered here? No. Next slide. I appreciate your time. I put my contact information up there. If anybody ever wants to run an idea past me, you're more than welcome to either send me an email or give me a call. As Joyce said, I'm as part of the Ford Digital team. Anytime you see something on the internet that's Ford related, that was our team. We started off back in 1999, and I stayed with them through the end of last year. I also have the next program on here, if you can stay right here. Go on to the next one. Who here has a Twitter account? Okay, want to come up here and give this class for me?
No, because I don't use it.
I don't use it.
I don't use it.
Okay, well, Twitter is a viable means of communication, and it's a viable means to get your information out there. What Twitter will do is allow you to link to other things. So when you have your survey, if this was a survey that was going to be a public survey, you could actually promote it on Twitter. And in order to utilize Twitter, if you go to the next slide, you go to twitter.com, and once you're on twitter.com, right over here, sign up for Twitter. Give me your name, your email address, you choose a password of your liking. What's a good idea for a password? If you're going to create a password and you want it secure, what's a good idea?
Uppercase, lowercase, numbers,
And characters. Now, some don't allow you to use characters, but mix them up, match them. Once you do that, how often should you change that password?
Every 60 days?
Why not be safe once a month? First of the month, change it. At Ford Motor Company, we're forced to change it every 90 days, which is fine, but I like to be secure. Knock wood, I've never been hacked in all the years I've been online. I first put a computer on my desk in 1985, so I've seen a lot come and go through the years. Security is something that is extremely important. Go to the next slide. Once you sign up, they're going to send you an email that you're going to have to log into it and verify the account. Then you log into Twitter by going to twitter.com/login. Or you can go to twitter.com and look for the icon that says login. But once you're here, you put your username and password in. Next slide, please. So here you are. You're looking at the homepage in Twitter. Go to the next slide. Unfortunately, it looks like some of them got mixed up. Next one, please. Okay, when you're in here, in the top right, you've got a little profile setting. First thing I'd like you to do is go into that profile and put your settings in place. Settings being your name, your email address. If you want a picture of yourself or your dog or your cat or anything else, you can do that. It's an icon, so you want to make it 125 by 125 is the sizing on that. Go to the next slide. Once you're in here and you drill down, you can see over here, you can view your profile, you can create lists of people that you want to send information to. It'll give you how many times you've tweeted out, how many people are following you, and, how many people you're following and how many are following you. You can use Twitter for a lot of different things. I use it to help promote family events, family businesses. It's all I use it for. I have multiple Twitter accounts depending on what I'm going to use. One of the critical things with any system out there that's based on the internet, when you are done, go back and log out. The reason hackers can get into accounts is people don't log out. How many people right now have a smartphone and they have Twitter on it and Twitter is open? How many have Facebook on it and Facebook is open? Okay? That's how hackers can get in, because that system is open all the time. So as you're creating things, it's vital to log out. Especially if you're going to use a Gmail account. Because Gmail, everything is open, because they tie it all into one login. Next slide, please. Just wanted to give you an idea of what it would actually look like once you actually update your profile. So over here, okay, that's my Twitter handle, @O'Sullivan9. Now everybody in my family knows I'm O'Sullivan9 because I'm the 9th kid in the family. Okay. My name, what I do, a couple different links to different websites that I have, and then edwardsullivan.com, another link to a website. So anything you put in your profile will show up here. Photos and videos will show up here. And that's for another discussion down the road on how to optimize that kind of stuff. Next page. And there you see the logout is highlighted. When you're once and for all done, make sure you click that. And that's a little bit about Twitter. Any questions? Yeah.
Questions about Twitter? I said to the students when they first started a couple weeks ago that they would all end up with a Twitter account. Now we have two, and an increase in their clout score. Did you say that?
I got a 62.
That's pretty.
I
That's
was
pretty
really
amazing.
stunned.
Yeah.
Because I saw 60 is good, so I was like, wow.
Okay.
I don't know how I got
I think mine's okay.
When you say cloud score, what are you referring to?
Students, would you like to explain what a clout score is?
How important you are, how many people looked at you?
Yeah, on
Most
social
of them
media.
online.
that. On your social media.
You should check your cloud and see.
Okay, and where are you
Sure,
checking
fine.
that?
Cloud.com.
Cloud.com.
With a K.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Here's a challenge if you're in the business world, is getting that cloud score so high that it's off the chart. And one way to do that is as you optimize things and people start searching for you, your Twitter accounts show up, and not just your Twitter accounts, but different postings that you've had show up. Not just Twitter, but Google. Google Plus is the largest out there. I came prepared. I'm allergic to these carpets.
Oh, okay.
That's why I knew there was going to be one. I'm going to give you a word, branding, B-R-E-N-D-I-N-G.
D-I-N-G,
And then branding clout with a K.
right?
And then third one, John Zarlino, Z-A-R-L-I-N-O. If you want to see clout scores, those are all three tied together. But if you Google John Zarlino, not only will you get the first page of results for John, you can go 50 pages deep. And you're going to have over 500 related links to John Zarlino. Some of it will be Twitter, some of it will be his branding account. But that's the whole idea of a business controlling what people see when they search for their terms. And it starts with your clout score. So I congratulate you.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.